You ever check your bank account and realize your biggest financial threat isn't inflation? It's your own sibling? Because that's how my week started. One normal Tuesday morning. Coffee in hand, peaceful, responsible, adulting. And then I opened my banking app, and suddenly I was funding someone else's lifestyle. Not a hacker, not a scammer in another country. My sister. And somehow, I was the bad guy. Let me explain. I'm 24, I work full-time, I'm not rich, I'm not flashy. I just like knowing my rent will clear and my credit score isn't screaming for help. My sister, she lives in what I call financial optimism, which is a polite way of saying she believes money will appear if she manifests it hard enough. She's 27, between jobs, again, always working on something big. A business idea, a content plan, a rebrand, a glow-up, income, unclear. Now here's an important detail. A few months ago, she stayed at my apartment for a week. She said she needed space. I said yes, family. During that week, I left my wallet on the kitchen counter a few times because I trusted her. Mistake number 1, fast forward to that Tuesday. $327 at a clothing store. Okay, $189 online. Weird. $742 for an airline ticket. Excuse me? Then restaurants, beauty salons, ride shares. Total? Over $2,400. In 5 days. That's not an accident. That's a vacation package. I called the bank immediately. Did you authorize these purchases? No. Has anyone had access to your card? And that's when my stomach dropped. The bank told me the purchases were made through Apple Pay, registered to a device that was not mine. But I've seen that device before. It lives in my sister's hand. So I drove to my parents' house. She was there, on the couch, relaxed, scrolling. Probably shopping, I asked calmly. Did you use my credit card? She didn't panic. She didn't deny it. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you. Going to tell me. When? After my credit score wrote a suicide note. I asked why. She said she needed it. Needed it. For what? Apparently, important things. Important things included new clothes, a weekend trip, beauty appointments, and a flight to visit a friend. I blinked. Why didn't you ask me? She shrugged. You would have said no. Correct. That is, in fact, how consent works. I told her she needed to pay it back immediately. She laughed. Actually laughed. Then she said something that deserves its own documentary. You owe me. I owe you? She explained that because I have a stable job and she helped me emotionally growing up, I now owe her support. The logic was breathtaking. By that logic, I should invoice her for childhood snacks. Then my mom joined, and within seconds, I became the villain. She's struggling. She didn't mean harm. You're overreacting. Overreacting? To $2,400 disappearing? Interesting threshold. I asked what the emergency was. Silence. No eviction, no medical bills, no crisis, just entitlement. Then things escalated. My sister said families don't nickel and dime each other, which is funny because she was very precise with my credit limit, so I canceled the card immediately. Filed a fraud report. Yes, against my own sister. And that's when the explosion happened. She showed up at my apartment furious. You reported me? Correction. I reported the charges. If they trace back to you, that's just math. She accused me of betraying her, which is bold, considering she betrayed my credit first. Then she tried a new tactic, gaslighting. You said I could use it. No. You always help me. Not like this. You're dramatic. Yes, I'm dramatic about not wanting financial ruin. Then she escalated again. If you don't cancel the report, I'll tell everyone what you did. Blackmail. Apparently, we upgraded the drama package. I asked calmly, what exactly did I do? She mumbled something about old arguments and private conversations, which translates to, she had nothing. Then my mom called. She said the fraud investigation could ruin your sister's future. Interesting. Using my card didn't seem to concern her about mine. Then came the second shock, a notification from my credit monitoring app, a credit inquiry, under my name. At a financing company, I didn't apply for anything. Guess who had my information? Guess who had already shown she doesn't respect boundaries? I called the company immediately. Someone had attempted to open a line of credit in my name. Application denied. Because my credit was frozen. That's when it stopped being sibling drama and became identity fraud. I confronted her again. No sarcasm this time, just facts. If this continues, I won't be able to stop the investigation. Suddenly, she found money. Isn't that amazing? Within 2 weeks, she transferred $1,500. Not all of it, but enough to show she could pay when consequences existed. Still, she insisted she planned to repay it, eventually. Eventually is not a payment plan. The house became tense, family gatherings awkward. I became cold, unforgiving, money-obsessed. Meanwhile, the person who committed fraud, still invited to dinner, still protected, still misunderstood. That's when I learned something uncomfortable. In some families, accountability depends on who you are. If you're responsible, you're expected to absorb chaos. If you're reckless, you're protected from consequences. I changed everything after that. Passwords, accounts, locks. I stopped discussing my salary, stopped sharing details, stopped being financially transparent, because transparency only works when trust exists, and trust was gone. Months later, she told relatives, I care more about money than family, which is ironic, because the only reason we're here is because she cared about my money. Here's the truth. If I didn't freeze that card, this wouldn't have stopped. It would have grown. A new charge, a new excuse, a new emotional speech. Entitlement expands when it's rewarded, and boundaries feel like betrayal to people who benefit from you having none. So now I'll ask you, if your sibling used your credit card, opened accounts in your name, and blamed you for defending yourself, would you protect them or protect your future? Because sometimes the hardest lesson isn't losing money. It's realizing who you can't trust anymore. Let me know what you would have done.